welcome to another episode of Design and Influence. It's awesome to have you here. We try to bring you all kinds of interesting stuff, innovation, solving the IT challenges so you can focus on doing your best work. And occasionally we come across an interesting tech. In fact, we just attended AIA conference in Chicago with 30,000 architects, and there was tons of cool tech. But, kind of things you've seen before, I think. We have a guest today with a tool and a project and a product that you may have not seen before. And I think there's a really interesting connection between what the tool does for a consumer and how it translates into a time and cost savings for architects. And I think much better outcome for everyone altogether. Now, I'm just speculating. I'll let Timber talk about this. So let me introduce my guest. First of all, let me say hello to my co-host, Boris. How you doing today, man?
Hey, Alex. Yeah, good to see you again.
Awesome. And then, so let me introduce my guest. His name is Timber Barker. He is from a company called Boom Interactive Inc. And the product we're going to talk about today is called Bubbles. And the tagline there is freedom to design your way, which is kind of cool. So Timber, welcome to the show. And thanks a lot for taking the time.
Hey, thanks, Alex and Boris, for having me on. I really appreciate this. And we're very excited to initially start talking about this and kind of leaking it out as possible, right? As much as we can as possible.
So this is a brand new tool, has not been released to the public as of this recording. And that's why I want to know everything about it, or at least how it pertains to architects and what it accomplishes for consumers and all that. But before that, can you kind of talk us through real quick? Like, first of all, what's the scope of the tool? Because I like to kind of punch it right out of the gate with like what this tool does for a consumer, and then maybe your founding story a little bit, kind of weave that in, how you came to be in this position.
Yeah, no, good question. Thanks. Yeah, this was built out of frustration. So I was working as a draftsman, doing some marketing for a draftsman and an architect. And I just didn't see a really great, simple way to engage with the average consumer. I'm a very average type person. Sure, I'm a little technical with code and whatnot, but I needed a better way to basically ideate in 3D. So to answer your first question, the short, hey, what does this do? We created an AI that's an image recognition AI. We can take a flat floor plan, a line drawing, or even just a sketch on a napkin and take a photograph of it using our software. And we extrude that. That's a word that we use from taking something from 2D into 3D. We can extrude that in nanoseconds. We took that a step further, and we allow you on your mobile device to change walls, windows, doors, add simple decor elements and items, do a very quick POV walkthrough, drop cameras down and see kind of different angles of if something's going to work. And in a nutshell, that's where it started. We're like, look, let's just give somebody a 3D editor that's real time, runtime, and they can mess around with it. That has since grown into a really great project management tool that is created to save time. I mentioned that pinch point earlier, that kind of pain point we were having. Design discovery schematics, sometimes, 6 weeks at times. And then after that, there's a lot of back and forth with a client. We aim to reduce that time and solve a lot of those things. So just as Pinterest and the internet has given people great inspiration, there's been some great designs out there I've never even seen. And I go to Pinterest sometimes like, man, who built that, or who did that, or who designed that? I really like that one feature. I'm going to put that in my next project. And I just have a Pinterest board of hundreds and hundreds of inspiration. How do I nail those down to exactly what I want in a floor plan that I desire to build? And if a person's coming to the table, a future potential client of an architectural firm or an architect is coming to the table, they now have this entire 3D dollhouse scene with all of the individual products and images and things and even finishes that they would like, obviously including their flow. Now the architect can do what they're amazing at and get into Revit or CAD, whichever tool that they're using, and create that CD set. Just kind of gives them that launch pad. And that's really where our software sits, is kind of like that pre-phase. Yeah. And there's a lot more I could talk about, but
so initially we talked pre-show quite a bit actually. And just because it's so new that we weren't able to go and, kind of play with it a little bit, get a sense of it. But maybe give us an idea, like what you said that the product Bubbles, the designs tool is really targeted towards an average consumer, somebody who does not know code, that does not understand designing spatial, all that stuff. They just could go in and start dropping things and seeing how things look. Is that kind of where you guys aiming?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Like when we launched Bubbles, which you guys are getting a sneak peek of this now, and we're launching in the next couple months, we're launching for free. So we want everyone around the world to use this tool to get used to seeing things and ideating in 3D, creating a digital twin of their project or of their current space or a new house that they want to purchase or build, or even a coffee shop if they're a business owner. How about a commercial layout? An office layout, right? You use this tool, get used to this tool, ideate in this tool. Use the individual bubbles, which are these smart icons that can hold a lot of information. So budgets, finishes, chats, tying out to exact products, cost savings too. And I can show you guys a little demo right now, but if I got rid of a wall, we can easily tell you how much material that's out. Now, you still need an engineer. You still need an architect. We're not saying knock out all these walls in your house and then be like, oh, here's my CD set, and then try to go build that, because you have to have the professionals. And that's the beautiful thing about what we built. In focusing on the average consumer, we don't want to replace professionals. We don't want to replace the professionals that are using some fantastic tools to get the exactness that they need to even get, a stamp and approval for a build. We want to be a great tool, a project management tool in between your client, your customer, and then you. And then say, hey, here's this in 3D, go mess around with it and come back to me. And let's reduce that design discovery phase by like weeks upon weeks is the goal of the software.
That's awesome. And that's free and very accessible to a consumer. So you've mentioned that. Well, first of all, as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, where have I seen this before? I think I remember doing something with IKEA kitchens or something like that. Can you talk through that? How does that compare? Because I think IKEA has something similar, or at least conceptually similar.
Yeah, they do. It's actually a fantastic tool. We used it for our closet, like our closet, as well as some of our cabinetry, just to kind of get some elevations of what we wanted in the kitchen. Of course, as an IKEA tool, so I'm really only putting things in that are IKEA. We put in things in just grayscale, and you can put any product in there that you want. Now, of course, you're just appending a photograph of the product that you like. We also offer a rendering service where we can create a photorealistic render of the aggregate of the 17 things you got going on in your kitchen remodel, and we can produce a photorealistic 3D render and send it back over to you. Product agnostic. Like, from that photograph, let's just put that in. Obviously, the next phase of that is us tying you right to a local professional or an actual product and saying, you know what, you can get this whole thing built in IKEA. If you want this whole vision. IKEA's web-based tool to ideate and do that is pretty cool. There's a little bit of a learning curve, not a terrible learning curve. And, it's just a kitchen, potentially, 2 walls, right? And you're putting those things in. We take it a step further where you're ideating your kitchen, but it's your entire floor plan. So this is your actual space that you're building this in, not just let me draw 2 walls. I think this is 9 feet. Let me go measure. Okay, it is. And then this one's 12 feet. Great. We want you to put decor elements in there and items and see the spaces. Like we can show you the distances between objects. And so, yes, there are a lot of great tools out there. We want to be that sandbox tool that just lets you to design. I mean, the freedom to design in your way.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you said you were able to show us a little bit, do a little bit of a show and tell.
Yeah, let me. I got a few projects here I can show you. Let me just share my screen. Okay, I'm just going to come down to my biz dev build. Let me jump out. So it's very simple. These are actually a bunch of projects. They're actually all real projects, and keeping it really simple, almost Google-esque, where you have your workspace up here, and every single person that signs up, even an architect, you're going to get a free personal workspace. When you want to upgrade that to your business and create a pro workspace, you can add workspaces up here. In the future, if you're added by another professional into their workspace, you would see that workspace up here. And when you tap on that workspace, here's your projects. Let me go to DK's home. I just finished this. So this is just a photograph of a floor plan. Mm-hmm. DK, a friend of mine, he sent this to me. He's like, hey, I want to see this in Bubbles. So from that photograph, it extrudes up. And that's that floor plan. I can do 2D mode and kind of zoom all the way out. I'm like, okay, excellent. I see my walls, windows, and doors. Back in 3D, we've made it super simple to really just come in here and add walls, windows, doors right off of nodes, double tapping. Let me create a quick, just L-shaped kitchen space right here. Really, really easy. Lower cabinetry, put that down. I can stretch that along the wall. I can put down stoves. And again, everything's tied to a bubble. I can put in uppers, lowers. I also can decorate and ideate with certain things just to see, okay, is this going to work over here in this space? And it looks really small. I could probably do a bigger table. We can show you distances between things.
Oh, that's really cool.
This entire project took me about 5 minutes to clean up. And then your POV, which is probably one of the coolest features that people are liking, but this little mannequin, see this little mannequin right here?
Yep.
I can POV walk through the entire space.
Are you using this in real time? Because this seems very fast. I mean, this
is real time. Yeah, this is real time. This is the experience that everyone's going to have. We have it working on phones. We have it working on iPads. We have a desktop version, iOS and Android. I got lost. Where's the kitchen? It's supposed to be right
on
there.
The left.
Yeah, there it is. So coming in here and being like, you know what? Oh, there it is. Yep, it's right there on the left. I went the wrong way. So yeah, I could just, obviously I'm all turned around. That table, I put that in because I was like, well, is that going to fit? Yeah. Coming back into the kitchen. And again, we want to give people a very quick understanding of a flow and a layout. And sometimes it's hard to see that in 2D. Another feature I really want to point out, which is great, it's this feature we just recently got patented. It's called Rooms. And Rooms, let me pop out and I'm going to show you on a different plan. Here is an office space that we're looking at, and here is an option that we built. This Rooms icon right here, this allows you to see all the square footage and cubic feet of every single room, and even real time. Meaning, if I was like, you know what, we don't want this wall here, let's just build this wall and bring it over here. And we'll just say it's a garage door looking door, snaps in. Now it's recreated that room, this room 1. And I can do this at runtime. So I can see overall what is changing in there. I'm like, you know what? I don't like that. Let me just delete it. And now it's back to that one giant room, room 10, which is 3990 square feet. And then there's a room volume as well. You can change, you can do wall heights as well. And that's one thing is we're going to get into ceilings and whatnot, but generally we want to keep this super simple to use and simple to understand. If we start getting into now floors and floor types and ceiling types and drops, then it's just going to potentially, scare people away from this tool and then in using it. So I built this whole thing out as an idea for a build out office because our team is growing. And the real estate agent just gave me the flat floor plan. You can see that it was a picture. See that? I just took a picture of this and brought it in, cleaned it up, and then started placing these things around saying, I desire 4 offices, a kitchen, another conference room. And I said, here's kind of a configuration that I like. And I had 2 of my team members, great designers, also build their versions of what they would like to see. And we did all of this before we even put an offer in to even know if we can fit 45 people in here. And it was very cool. Really great experience, really very fun. Cool. What else would you like to see?
I have a question on, you mentioned, and I don't know if the tool is ready for that level, but like if you're taking a photograph, that you mentioned there's some inspirations on Pinterest. Like, so let's say if there's a specific couch that you found, or let's say it's a bull. You want to put a little bull riding attraction onto your office, or a pool table, like whatever, right? And if you have a picture or if you have a spec of it, like how does that get into the software?
Yeah, so this is our first phase. That is definitely coming. Our technology is going to grow. we kept everything in grayscale to like actual scaled things, meaning a 72-inch couch is a 72-inch couch. For us to go model every single 72-inch couch version, your Chesterfield versus your Ottoman type, right? If we went out and we did that and then we put color in there, in our experience, it's kind of a disservice to somebody who lives in a different sun. Like their sun's much brighter. It's gonna discolor. You're giving them something very cartoony. They're not going to go buy the product if it's cartoony in their space. So we're like, let's keep everything grayscale and let's keep everything very basic. Your photograph that you're going to pin to the bubble, there's your specificity. That's the product that you want. That's what you need. Do you now need to see all those in one space? And if the answer is yes, order a render from us and we'll give you a render of what that exactly looks like. And that's where we do that detailed work into those couches. We want to make sure it fits first.
I got you. So, okay, I'm just sorry. It's a layman question, but I needed to understand. So there's a library of components that you specify and pull in to see the spatial fit. And then if that works, you can put in specifics and then have you guys render that into more of a final design.
Yeah, if you need that. I mean, some of our clients are just like, you know what? I don't actually need the render. Here's all the things that I want. I know what this is going to look like. This is great. Some actually need the render. Most of our kitchen remodels and also new builds that we've done over the last couple of years, we do a final render for the kitchen. They have that for their kitchen designer. They have it for their kitchen installer, their GC, because often architects don't, they'll do an elevation enough to get a stamp or to get an approval to even build that, but they don't go in oftentimes. Some do. They don't go in and build the whole entire exact kitchen cabinetry and all these. They say, hey, here's a good flow. Here's an island. Here's where I put the sink. And the client can go change that all later. They can go back and be like, you know what? I want to reconfigure the kitchen. They don't go back to the architect with that. They work with the kitchen designer. And if they can move, water pipe, and if it's doable, they kind of handle that there instead of incurring the cost going back. And so a lot of our clients, they do want that render. And it's done by the most average consumer just selecting photographs. And I say 17 things, and that's kind of the sweet spot in a kitchen. And that gets you 17 things down. And if we don't have a model for you, we have a movable bubble. So you can drop a movable bubble in. You can move it anywhere in the scene, up the wall, on the side of the wall, and be like, I want shelving here. Here's a picture of the shelving I want. Now, just because we don't give that to you in bubbles where you can actually see the specifics of it, we can get you a render that shows that exact thing. And I can actually show you an example photorealistic render of a client, and they just did this in bed on their iPad. So I can show that to you if you want to see that. Yeah,
please do. And while you do that, there's a cost to this particular. Like this is not free, right? The final renders aren't free, and the industry is very expensive. And there's a lot of architects out there. You're going to hear this, and you're going to understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you're spending $15,000 on a render for a client, and we're looking at that, and it's very niche. It's not a huge market, but they can charge whatever they want. Well, our technology on the artist side is getting better, and we can produce these things faster. We're going to disrupt that industry a little bit. And we're going to say, hey, look, we can do it faster and cheaper than anybody else. And so there's a cost to a final render if your client wants it, or if you even want it for your client, it will be we've reduced the price to date about 64% from what that costs. So if it's $3,500 for a full photorealistic kitchen, we're less than half of that now. So that's a pretty amazing thing. I can kind of show you what that product looks like for their client. We give you a couple changes as well with that. So if you're like, you know what, that floor, not digging that floor. Again, we want to get you close enough. We're not going to get that exact color from that exact floor that you might have ordered it, months and months ago, and now it's out of stock and you might have to get a different floor. We want to get you close enough. We want to get the client close enough. We want to get them happy. We want to make architects look very professional using this tool. It's a collaboration tool between client and between that architect. And it can also continue. So I know I talked a little bit about, previs. So let's previs what this flow looks like. And my wife is an architect, and she did this with a client recently. It was a $4 million remodel up in Park City. And she did 3 layouts in Revit first, which takes some time. These 3 layouts, and sends the email to the client. They ended up printing the layouts out,
cutting out the island they liked, taping it onto the floor plan that they liked, wrote an arrow with a note that said, move this fireplace. And I can show this project, but it's really, really cool that I was able to see that process, which took about 2.5 weeks. Using Bubbles, all she would need to do is create one project and those 3 floors in digital, give it over to the client. They can look at it. They can actually start changing walls, windows, doors, adding a bubble for a note saying, this is what I want here. Comes back to my wife, and then she does all the work in one Revit file with the flow they like, with the changes they've made, and it's remote. They could have done that without coming into the office, without. It's pretty fantastic at how much time that.
No, it sounds amazing. It sounds like so when you do a website design, and when you're just like looking at different layouts and flow and the user experience, you use something like Sigma, right, to quickly build out components. I think it's called Sigma. I can't recall, but you design the website look and feel without any functionality. So you spend an hour, 45 minutes doing that versus spending 3 days building a semi-functional site just to see it doesn't work. So this is kind of similar for spaces. That's a great example, a great analogy. I mean, only it's user-friendly and like anybody, including me, can just go and use it. So that's exciting, Timber, man. This is really cool stuff. So we'd love to bring you back when this is more of a, where it's out there in the marketplace, shaking things up. Meanwhile, can you tell our listeners and viewers where to go find more information if they're interested to take a look at this?
Yeah, you can go to our website. It's designwithbubbles.com. And that'll tell you how you can download it for free, how you can use it, actually how even architects can go and download it for free and start playing around with it. I'd love to come back when we start rolling out more of those pro features that turn it really into a communication and a project management tool throughout the life cycle of a project. Would love to come back, go into that. So
perfect, Timber. It's great meeting you. Thank you very much for your time. And you guys and girls out there, check this out. Could be something very interesting. Save you a lot of time and that initial, as you call, design discovery phase. And I'm excited to go actually use this myself, because now you got me all thinking about all kinds of different things I should be doing or can be doing in my little office here and everywhere else. Boris, any last minute questions? You've been pretty quiet today.
Well, Timber, actually, so before we go, can you give us a rundown on what platforms this is available for right now and what you're looking for in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is platform-based. And so we have a desktop version, so Windows version and a Mac OS version. So you can use that on your computer. And then, of course, we have a mobile version for iOS and Android. And that covers off 98% of the devices out there. And so, we also have a web-based version. So web browser version. It's not going to be full 3D immersive. It's going to be more view only. So if you've created a project and you're a real estate agent and you upload all the pictures for the house, you can upload a QR code or a link that goes to a view only version of a bubbled up entire scene that you can literally just walk through without calling up and saying, hey, I want to go walk through that house. So we're going to be building out that web-based version next year, the view-only version.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll all see you on the next episode. Be well, and goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks.